peace. It comes from God. And from Christ, who has so much to teach us about peace. It's always related to love. Love of neighbor, love of ourselves, love of the one understood by you as outsider or outside of love, and even love of enemy. This Christ desires and hopes for us not only peace, but that we will be vessels of peace. Yesterday, we thought would be a pretty ordinary Tuesday around here. We gathered together and huddled to consider a response to the horrible violence that was perpetuated on an unsuspecting gathering of people in Orlando, people just gathering to be who they are, coming together. Family, brothers and sisters. We were shocked to hear that again, an automatic weapon had been turned on our people as Americans. But we were also shocked to hear yesterday that violence had been condoned from a Christian pulpit in our city. Words that seemed a call for even further violence on those who identify as LGBTQ in identity and expression. And so we wondered and we prayed together, how are we as the people of God to respond to this in our own city? Should we march? Should we protest? Should we pray in silence? What should we do? What does the people of God, those of us trying our very best and always failing, by the way, to follow Jesus, what do we do? And our conclusion was and is, we do what we're supposed to do every single day. We remember who we are first. We are people in need of God's grace and forgiveness and healing. That we too are people prone to anger and hatred and violence and scapegoat. We confess who we are deep down because evil is sneaky and it's pernicious. Evil loves our sense of superiority. It's fertile ground to nest, to take hold. So first we come before God on our knees. We confess. But our knees are not where we should stay. For God's forgiveness through Jesus Christ is like a hand reaching down to us to help us back up. And back up with this great sense of calm and peace and the expanse of God's impact and touch and promise and purpose. We realize that we are given the opportunity to live, not as the world lives, in fear, in a desperate need of establishing our own security at the cost of others. Oh no, there is another call. And it is hidden in the outstretched pieces of two boards that make a cross. And it is found in three simple words that define how we rise up and how we reach out. For God is love. 1 John summarizes the whole basis of why we exist: to live God's love in the world. Everything follows from that. Love casts fear. Love comes because God first loved us. Loving God cannot and does not happen without loving brother and sister, our diverse and eclectic human family. Love does not discriminate. And that leaves me with this last parting thought. The ultimate challenge that comes when we come face to face with hate and a call to violence. The question we must answer, that I must answer, to further the good news that God is love, is in the unfinished statement of this t-shirt that functions as our parament here today. Now, this t-shirt comes from our youth, our high school youth, not only from this church, but the entire region of Northern California. These young people as leaders gathered together, and they focused on 1 John with this t-shirt. It says, love is, and then there's a blank line underneath it. And if you had a Sharpie, what would you pick? For you see, love is more than just a feeling. It's more than an outpouring of emotion. Love is a verb. A verb that arises first out of God's action and care and concern and salvation for us. But love then takes a stand. It takes a risk. And it takes a hit for another. We have learned anything in following Jesus is that love is an action word. It empowers, it appreciates, it relates, and it sacrifices. So many lives lost in a moment of hate. We pray for those who lost loved ones and who are despairing and perhaps who are afraid. We even pray for those who give in to evil. And we pray, because praying is an action word, and we commit to finishing this sentence. Love is